It's June the 1st, 2025, and I'm going through the story of the people at the sea. God, feels so weird to talk about this. It's a story I wrote in university and submitted it in sections for writing class. So it would have been second year university, whatever year that was. And it is about a group of people that escaped in ships to the dark sea to escape Christians. And when they come back, they rise out of the sea and stay just offshore to get the attention of humans. And there's just things in here that there's no way I could have known were true when I wrote this. They're followers of Nana and the Great Mother. It seemed so unbelievable that I wrote it as fiction. So I know this is going to sound like it's a weird thing to be annoyed about, but it's kind of annoying. Like I had just made peace with the fact that my beliefs about being abducted by aliens was not real. Like I had just come to the conclusion that maybe all of it was just false memory, and I was going to move. That was the entire process behind alien brain fog. The reason behind alien brain fog was I was going to talk about how I'd come to discover that my memories were fake, that I had false memories, and that was the hope. But ever since I've talked about doing alien brain fog, there's been more alien activities. One sec. My phone's here. So I was just looking at TMZ today. Double check. I'm just bringing it up again. Yeah, so 11 hours ago, TMZ just put up a sighting about a UFO mass. So a UFO mass sighting over a California military base. It took place on April 20th, back in April 20th, over 29 Palms, California. I'm going to have to include this in the documentary because I uncovered using ChatGPT that a UFO just like this one appeared in Windsor back in 1978 when I was here. And no one talks about it. That's the thing. Like I've read about it, but no one I know talks about a UFO this big. And apparently it was over the Detroit River for 20 minutes. You think that would actually kind of stick with people like for a while, right? But we just all forgot about it. And if everyone can forget about it, then maybe it's not so surprising that I did. I mean, maybe the surprising thing is I remember it all. And I think, shit. I can see what happens to people though. Because I don't, like, how do I know if I'm just, like, maybe I'm just being manipulated by my algorithms. Like maybe I'm only hearing these stories because I'm looking for them. Or maybe they only show up because we're looking for them. I don't know. That's a scary thing. New world. I was just watching this clip of Whitney Strieber, and he was talking about what the aliens want. Talk about a new world. And it just so happened to be like echoing the same the same words that, I was just referring to. I don't think my phone was in the room when I was having that conversation with the New World Order. And honestly, I don't think that's what it was, because I actually had to go looking. It wasn't like the algorithm chose a video for me to talk about this New World Order coming. I actually had to search, so I was like, my boyfriend Michael sent me this thing about the UFO in California, and I was like, weird, that's just like the one that happened in Windsor in 1978. It's just like the ones that, or the Phoenix Lights, it's the same type of thing. Like, so they're, and honestly, I have no memory of seeing a vehicle like this ever. I've seen things in the sky that I thought were UFOs. I've never seen anything like this that I have any conscious memory of. But who the hell knows? Like, if our memories can be that easily manipulated, who the hell knows what we've actually seen? Anyway, the New World Order that the visitors were talking about, the entire world could change immediately if we just realized that all of our systems were no longer functioning and we just admitted that aliens were real and were here. The whole world could change if we just did that. Just say, you know what? Human system no longer working. And we're not alone. It could probably solve everything. But why would they? Why would they right now when, I'm looking at what's happening in Florida and it's like 1930s, 1920s, Germany all over again. Why would they want to give technology, if they exist, which, again, images we see could be drones, could be very likely beyond drones. It's also very likely that they're just military secret weapons, because we know that the United States likes to spend a lot of money on their military. But at what point does the preponderance of evidence suggest that further study is really needed? Like, is the reason we're not investigating because we're just so afraid? Because yeah, I get that. I get more than anyone why aliens would be terrifying. I've been terrified of them my entire life. Even though I'm not even sure they're real, I'm still terrified of them. Because why is it so hard for us to admit that aliens are real? Like, really? Like, the more I think about it, like, why is it so hard for us to say that that thing in the sky is not humans? Part of me wonders, is it really just fucking white supremacy? Honestly, that's kind of what I'm thinking it might be. Which is pretty fucking pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. If the thing that is preventing us from a new world order with people that could solve all of the world's problems with greater technology is just that we can't get over white supremacy. Because if aliens are real, it proves that white people are not supreme. It's a whole lie. And God, I think that's a good way to tie up alien brain fog. The one thing that is keeping us from accepting the aliens is fucking white supremacy. Because aliens can't be real, because that means that white people wouldn't be supreme. That's just an off-the-cuff observation, but I'm really glad I recorded that, because I'm starting to think it's kind of true. The only reason that we can't admit that aliens are real is that means that white people aren't supreme. Wow. We'd also have to admit that humans aren't supreme. We'd have to get over the egocentric idea that we are the top of the food chain. We are not. part of the food chain. You know, I have spent my entire life focused on fear. And it really took me losing everything. I'm supposed to do something there, but I don't know how the fuck to do that. I'll have to do. I've spent my entire life terrified of aliens. And the paradox is, I would not even be close to the same person I am today if not for my belief that I was abducted. Whether or not I was, in many ways, like whether or not there's a physical reality in which I was abducted, is secondary to the effect it had on my personality. Because I thought that I was abducted, I read a lot. Because I couldn't talk about it, because nobody would believe me. And again, I don't even believe me most of the time. I don't believe me most of the time. I don't want to believe me most of the time. Because if it's real, think about what's real. I think that maybe the things that we call the visitors just move through time differently than we do. And because we have no physical organs to measure or see time, we can't fucking measure them. They could be right beside us and we wouldn't see them because they can move through time differently. And that can be terrifying if you think about it. Like I'm in my house, I think I'm alone, but am I? Or am I surrounded by things that I just can't sense? And the answer to that is yes, we are all surrounded by things we can't sense. Things that our brains and our bodies have determined are not a threat to our being. So, for example, there are very likely tiny beetles everywhere throughout my house. And you'll see them, like every house has them, little bugs. But I don't see them because they're not a threat. My body is maybe bodies evolve slower than minds, which makes sense. That's not correct. Mind, brain, different. Concepts evolve faster than biology. Our ideas of reality are very different, and our bodies have not caught up to that. I think there's some truth in that. I think part of the chaos that we see in the world is that we're just not used to this level of interconnectedness. And we have so much information being thrown at us each day, and we don't have the capacity to filter it out properly. The paradox. I've been terrified of the thing that has created my identity. Because it really was. It was like before I knew I was gay, there was this secret of, no. You know what? I'm still not really clear on when I was sure I was abducted. Because I can clearly remember that there was a time where I was interested in UFOs. I was interested in UFOs long before I was convinced I was abducted. I don't even think that I was where abduction was a thing. Really, I think it was really Whitley Strieber's book, Communion. It was reading that book that made me come to the realization that I might have had. I know I've had cover memories, and holy fuck, I'm remembering the owls. I'm remembering owls now. At my window. Because I remember reading Whitley Strieber's book, and when he talked about the owls at his windows, I was like, what the fuck, I remember those. And I haven't thought about them in years. I was actually telling Michael, I've never seen an owl in the wild. I told him that a couple of days ago. I've said that many times. But I just remember, just this moment, reading Communion for the first time and having that click of like, yes, I see owls all the time. My mother was obsessed with the owls. I have no idea why. It was one of the things she collected was owls, and it's one of the things I kept from her was a set of owls. And it was that I connected with, and then there was the unfortunate truth that I'd been drawing them for years. And I remember what I was reading, there was a moment in, I think it's in Communion, where he said something about that, blah, blah, blah. I realized I've been drawing these figures for years, and I literally stopped reading the book. I felt cold, and I looked through my binders, and I had been drawing them for years. I had actually modeled in my book series, so I did world building for HCR long before I actually wrote. So in my teenage years, I was writing world building. And I had a group of people called the Madooners, which was like a really, I was a fan of Dune. I don't want them to be desert people, but I wanted them to be different, so I didn't want them to be, I wanted it to be unique, so I made them like, instead of the suits, they actually had them in their skin, so their skins were designed to have water circulating through them, which made them blue. They were always blue because they always had water through their skin. They were Madooners, and they looked just like that, and I'd been drawing them for years. When I actually did write the book series, my book series do have aliens throughout them. I call them the Nizarians in my book series. The nice thing about writing fiction is I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to be scientific. I can just talk about whatever my fucking theories are, and that's fiction. In my book series, they're time travelers sent back to alter events for the best possible outcome for humanity. And when I look around, I'm thinking, you know what? I think maybe this is the best possible outcome for humanity. Because if anything had gone slightly different, like if Trump had won re-election, Russia would have recreated the Soviet Union. No one would have stepped up to stop them. If things had been a little different, we've come so close to nuclear war. I think I have a hard time having faith that things are going to work out. I have this horrible feeling like there's going to be a nuclear event. But I think that's, think about like psychic feelings. I think it's just that we all feel it. And just because we all feel it, here's the paradox, because we all feel it, we all feel it. If we stop feeling it, we won't feel it. Humanity is really weird. Like our emotions are just so weird. I'm not talking about the thing I need to talk about. What if they're real? What if aliens are real and are watching? What if aliens, for some reason, I've never actually thought they were aliens, to be honest with you. I never thought they were from another planet. I never really got that they were, like in my book series, they were, like I said, they're future versions of humanity, coming back in time to kind of try to alter events. Some people have seen them as angels or demons or the jinn, or the image of the smokeless fire. When I think of them consciously, so if I try to think of them, seeing them, that is what they look like. for me, not. I don't see them as physical. Like when I am I, but again, that's the thing. The annoying thing about memory is, if you don't remember it, try to force yourself to remember, you're just corrupting the memory. So that what you are recalling is not even really the memory, it's your the more often you try to recall a memory, the less accurate it is. And the problem is, the most traumatic events are the ones we recall most often. Which maybe amnesia is a kindness. Not understanding how and why you're being manipulated could be a good thing for your mind, like Dark City. That's why I hated Dark City. Like the minute I saw Dark City, it's like it felt too real to me, because that's what I thought looking at it just felt like the person that wrote that movie had been abducted by aliens and was acting out their trauma in that movie. That's what it felt like to me, because it felt like I was doing. All of my books have been about amnesia and not real memory, and how getting a new world could exist if we just accepted aliens are real and that our systems are not real. We have to accept that white people are not the supreme people in all of existence. We have to look up in the sky. It's like, you know what, I can see that thing up there. It's real. I mean, you can tell me that it's not, but I can see it with my own fucking eyes. Like, I know it's there. So, but relying on your memory is tricky, because I know that I don't feel confident relying on my memory, because I know my memory is false sometimes. I need other evidence before I can trust that what I remember happening actually happened. I need to research this thing for what happened in 1978. I think that's probably going to be the focus of I can make that the focus. Instead of 1978 Windsor, it's topical. I don't know if anyone's done anything about it. But yeah, I think I can do that. I can tie it into the Phoenix Lights. I would really like to get some alien. I would like to get some abductees. But that's a ways out. I mean, that's like the alien portion. If I'm thinking a year, if I'm releasing a year, so in May of 2023 is when 2023 is now, so May 2024 is when I want to release this. So I'm not even going to be really getting to the alien interviews for months. Like, I still have to go through the systemic racism stuff. But I'm recording this today because, again, it just happened. It was just reported today, so mass sighting over California military base, May 23rd, 2023, was posted at 9:33 this morning. Experts Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp revealed the starting footage Tuesday on the podcast Weaponized. I definitely need to start listening to that. It was shot back in April 2021 said the event lasted 10 minutes with more than 50 eyewitnesses, including dozens of Marines. You know, it's this thing, is like we have this thing, it's like, well, yeah, there were smart people there. Like the Windsor article said that, well, there were police there, and there was military people there, as if because you're a military person, you are more believable. And because you were a police officer, there's no reason for you to lie. I mean, these are the roles that we're creating. You know, if it had been a bunch of, I was going to say strippers, I can't say that. If it had been a bunch of 5-year-old kids looking at the sky saying they saw lights, no one would have believed them. But again, in this case, no one's believing these people either. Like, no one is actually believing. Because if people believed, really, truly, truly believed that there were aliens with UFOs that could come and save all of our world problems, If they have those machines, do you think they could maybe fix hunger? Or electricity? Think about what it would be like if humans had free energy to heat your homes, cool your homes, run your vehicles without polluting the environment. Maybe then we could stop global warming. But that would take first and acknowledge that maybe the white man is not the supreme level of intelligence in existence. And I know that's a really, really hard battle for some people. The thing that is the freakiest about this, oh look, there's a date, 1992, January 2nd, I made a note there. The thing that's freakiest about this is I don't really remember writing it at all. I remember, I shouldn't say that. I remember that I did write it because I was submitting it for class, but I don't really remember anything that's in here. But I've written the same story 4 times. I write it, I forget it. I write it, I forget it. I write it, I forget it. And, it's that pattern that I'm looking for. It's not the fact that I wrote this one time and got lucky. It's the fact that I wrote a very detailed story about non-humans living in the ocean to escape Christians who would return by coming out of the ocean. And it just doesn't read as much like fiction as it used to. But it's the fact that it did it 4 times. I wrote the story, forgot it. Wrote it, forgot it. Wrote it, forgot it. Some of the names are changed, but some of them are very similar. Like, that's the thing. It's the patterns that I'm looking for, not just the one-offs. I was playing mind games in the brother. Oh my God, this is... It's a mind fuck to think that I might have actually been talking with something, because it's looking like I was.